In this episode, I tell you how you can get involved, I give you a streaming roundup for the month of May, and Chris returns once more to play Celebrity Birthdays.
This is 90s and Noughties UK, a podcast on UK pop culture of the 90s and 2000s. If you want to contact the show, email 90esandnoughties@gmail.com, tweet us on @90esandnoughties UK on Twitter, or check us out on Facebook, 90s and Noughties UK.
Welcome to this edition of the 90s and Noughties UK podcast with me, Jamie Dyer. And since it's the last episode of this month, I would like to start a regular thing, something that we do each month, once a month, on this podcast, and it comes in two parts. The second part I will tell you in just a moment as part of the main feature, but the first part is this. I would like to spend the next minute or so telling you that I appreciate all of the people that have supported the podcast, those who listen week on week. I know sometimes in terms of subject matter it can be a mixed bag as to what we talk about. One week it's music, one week it's TV, sometimes video games, and I appreciate that some people, in fact most people that get in contact, understand what this podcast is about. So I thank you for that support. And I would also like to take this opportunity to ask that if there's anybody who would like to be a guest on the podcast, whether talking about an aspect of 90s and Noughties pop culture, wherever you are, or playing one of the games that we have, like Celebrity Birthdays, or a couple of the other things that I'm currently thinking up, or maybe even something that I haven't thought of yet. Whatever it is, I would love to hear from you, because it's not just about me sitting here every week just giving you my thoughts on pop culture of the 90s and noughties. I want you to get involved, and it might be as a guest, or it might even be as a letter or an email. I would like to bring back the post bag section, because I know that some people enjoyed hearing other opinions, even if they couldn't get to a microphone in order to say it. They loved hearing the opinions. So I appreciate all of the help that people have given, as I say, and I hope to hear from you if you're somebody who would like to appear on a future episode of this podcast, because it's you guys that keep it going. So I thank you for that. So without further ado, because it's the last show of the month, let's do something different. What I would like to do once a month with you is take you through some of my recommendations for things 90s and noughties related that are currently available to stream on the various services that are now out there. Most of my recommendations, if not all, will be available in the UK and the US, but there might be some exceptions. And as well, all information here was correct at the time of recording, which is the 23rd of May 2021. So now we've got that out the way, let's go to the first streaming service that I shall talk about here, and some recommendations of predominantly TV shows that are on it from the period. And I've already talked about Recess and how much I love it. That's available on there, as are the TV movies and the feature film. But I haven't told you about the Disney remake, reboot, whatever you want to call it, of Doug, which is also available. People will remember the Nickelodeon version with the catchy theme tune and the very interesting art style. This is completely different. Okay, some of the elements are the same. Some, though, have been turned on their head. Some people like it, some don't. I do recommend it, though, because I can't see the Nickelodeon version right now. I have a couple of episodes on iTunes, but other than that, this is a great filler because I just want to see those characters. I've also been watching Lilo and Stitch as well, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, and my little boy, really loves DuckTales, the original 80s series. Lastly, I cannot wrap up this first foray into Disney Plus without mentioning Boy Meets World. I have talked at length about this on several different platforms. All of the seasons are available, all 7 of them. The show at the beginning is different to the show at the end, but you just love the journey. Mr. Feeney is an absolute delight, and there is so much stuff in there for adults as well as children, because it was originally shown on the ABC network and then later Disney Channel. As far as I can tell, it's all uncut, and by the end, as I say, you will absolutely love it. My wife and I binged that series in lockdown last year, and we look forward to maybe watching a season or 2 again very soon, especially season 6, which I'm sure is quite underrated. So let's move on to the next streaming service that is showing sort of 90s and noughties related material. And this is one that you might not have heard of. It's called Film Rise, and it's a free app on Roku. It's on Xbox One, and it's also on Fire TV, and it might be on other related services as well. And they are free and supported by advertising, and it depends on where you are, but in my experience, the following show is available in most territories. So the first show that I'm going to mention here is one called Donkey Kong Country. Yes, it is the same as the video game from the 90s. It's a TV series based on those characters, and I can't tell you how excited I was to see that show on again. I remember watching it on Fox Kids, I want to say, back in the 90s. When I knew it was a thing, it was like, this is amazing, right? I always tried to make sure that I caught it after school. However, watching it recently, as excited as I was to see it again, I'm afraid the visuals haven't quite aged particularly well. I mean, they made 40 episodes over 2 seasons, and it ran between 1996 and 2000, and it's CGI, right? I mean, it's going to have aged quite badly in that time. The other show that springs to mind, which isn't available on any platform, as far as I can tell, is Monster by Mistake, which as well looks pretty bad. However, Donkey Kong Country has some good stories in it, and the voice acting is okay. I mean, it's probably one of the better adaptations of video games into television than perhaps, well, I mean, maybe the one that beats it is Sonic the Hedgehog, that 90s series with the very catchy, Sonic the Hedgehog, that one. And, of course, the Super Mario Brothers series, Super Mario Brothers 3 and Super Mario World, which at last look was on Film Rise. I'm not sure if it still is, so you might have to check up on that. Now, let's go and look right now at Amazon Prime. And really, the show that I can recommend on here is The Worst Witch. As much as I love the new series, I do have a fondness for the original ITV series, simply because, my goodness, I mean, that music that comes in and the way that everybody played their part. Georgina Sherrington as Mildred Hubble, and of course Felicity Jones, who's now extremely famous in her own right, was also in there. They have series 1 to 3 on there. Now, there are 1 or 2 series on BritBox as well, but as far as I can tell, it's not the whole lot. It's been a while since I looked at BritBox, and let's move on to BritBox, actually. BritBox have a whole range of old school kids TV shows on there. There's a bit of a kids TV theme going on in this episode, isn't there? They have episodes of Jungle Run. The Crystal Maze is on there as well. Several series, I think. And last time I looked as well, they had pretty much the complete first series of Tots TV as well. So if you're into puppetry, there's plenty of those things on there. I'm hoping one day they decide to add the series. What was that? What was that show called? Big Meg, Little Meg, which I must say, I watched it recently. I watched a pilot on there, and I got very excited because it felt like a family sitcom. But I remember watching it on CITV. I hope one day they go to put those on there. Now, Netflix, I can recommend to you Sister Sister and Girlfriends. They are, as far as I know, still available on there. I don't have a subscription to it right now, so I can't tell you, but as far as I know, it's still there. So that is the video roundup of the streaming services, the 90s and noughties related content on there. The last thing that I wanted to talk to you about was a different kind of streaming. Now, a few weeks ago, I was doing some searches, retro gaming stuff, and I happened to be scrolling through, I think it was Facebook or Twitter, one of those, and it came up with a sponsored post for Antstream. Now, Antstream is a British-based gaming streaming platform that aims to provide retro games from the sort of 70s up to around the early 2000s. Now, when we say retro, obviously retro means lots of different things. Really, predominantly, they're talking about the ZX Spectrum, the C64, also the NES, SNES, Mega Drive, even the Amiga, and of course, the classic arcade. And my, there are so many games on there, and at the moment, it's free, right? So you download it on your PC, you open it up, and you can stream games for free. There are premium options available, but I do recommend just checking it out, right? There's over 1,000 games on there, and there's a lot of very well-known ones. And one of the questions that came up when people ask about it was, is it legal? Now, this company have made sure that every game is licensed, and if you know your retro gaming and you know about where games pop up on retro compilations, on consoles and things, you know, specialized consoles, these are games that do turn up quite a bit, right? You got things like Double Dragon, there's a lot of the Atari stuff on there, Ocean Software are even there, Midway, aka Warner Brothers, are involved in it as well. They've even licensed Super Star Wars and the following games after that from Disney, which I played for the first time the other day. I was really impressed. And even Teatro as well, who made Bubble Bobble. I've been playing a great game on Twitch through the Twitch streams called Liquid Kids, which is much fun. And at the moment, it's just available on PC, Mac, Fire TV, Roku, I think, and other related things, Nvidia Shield. It's not available on consoles at this present time, at the time of recording. However, I'm sure that they will try and get it submitted. I think it was on there originally, and then maybe Microsoft or something realized what it was and went, we need to see a bit more proof. I don't know. But I do hope that it lands on consoles very soon. If you are planning on checking it out, as I say, download the app, plug in your Xbox controller, if you've got one, into your PC, and you are away, right? Because most Xbox controllers, most wired ones, are programmed to work with such a thing. So I do recommend checking that out. Go and see what games are on there. I'm not going to recommend anything in particular, simply because we all have different tastes. I got to experience Pinball Fantasies the other day for the first time in years. I used to play that as a kid. I absolutely loved it. So yeah, that's Antstream, which is available. Go and give it a Google search. Go and follow them on social media and tell them that 90s and Noughties UK sent you. And that is the streaming roundup for the month of May. And now it's time for a regular feature on the podcast, Celebrity Birthdays. And the person back once again to play is Chris. Welcome back, Chris. Please start your questioning to discover the identity of a 90s or noughties celebrity celebrating their birthday in the week of this broadcast.
Fingers crossed this one goes a bit better. So I always start, the first question is, are they female?
No.
Okay, another male. Are they an actor?
Yes.
Ooh. Were they a young actor in the 90s and noughties?
I wouldn't say so, no.
Okay. Would you say so, that in the 90s and noughties they were over 50?
No.
Okay, that helps. Are they British?
Yes, they are.
Now, if they're an actor, are they famous for film?
For film, no.
Are they famous for TV?
Yes, they are, and in order to throw a slight curveball in there, for more than one reason.
For more than one reason? Oh, that's interesting. Were they on TV regularly?
Oh, I would say so, yes. In fact, I would say, to help you out here, they still are.
Okay, so they're still with us. Okay. So I'm just trying to get the age bracket in now. Were they known for comedy?
They are known for comedy, yes. That is one of their facets.
Were they in a famous TV sitcom?
No.
So are they a comedian?
Yeah, they comedy and being a comedian is one of their facets, yes.
Right. Were they famous for doing a lot of stand-up comedy?
At one time, yes, not so much now.
Have they co-starred with anybody that is a massive, big celebrity?
Well, I mean, there's literally too many to choose from, because it all depends on your definition. But I would say, yeah, even though that's really misleading.
In my head, that helps. So I think your answer's fine. So I'm okay, because it's obviously bigger than I thought. So would you see them more in the theatre than a TV?
No. I would say that certainly to say over the last 20 years, this guy's probably spent more time in a TV studio than he has anywhere else.
And would you say they're as big now as they were then?
I would say that then they were a dot in the landscape, and now they are the landscape.
Interesting.
Really only in Britain. I'll be nice to you. Really only in Britain. So if you went somewhere else, they probably wouldn't know who this person was.
Okay, I'm just trying to think of the age thing. So I was thinking like actors and comedians, but now you just said that, because in my head, I had Ricky Gervais in my head. But then just saying the age thing in the 90s and noughties, and he's not known anywhere else because he's well known in America, it can't be Ricky Gervais. Although his name's Gervais, so I don't know why I said Gervais, like Louis Walsh. I don't know why I said that. So actor and comedian. And still going now.
Oh, yeah. Everywhere.
When you say everywhere, I'll ask a previous question that I asked before at another time. Are they on the BBC?
They have been on the BBC, yes. Not always, but they have been on the BBC.
Do they have a catchphrase?
I wouldn't say so.
That rules out quite a few people. So acting-wise, although you say they're obviously comedy and acting, when they do the acting, are they primarily in a serious acting role, or I can't ask you any more questions, just yes and no. That's my question. Serious acting roles.
Okay, they have done a serious acting role, including a remake of a show from another country. They have also starred in a very long-running TV show as the son of a big character in said TV show. But on television, aside from that, they are also very well known for presenting mainly. But hopefully that answers your acting question.
Fingers crossed, hopefully. Do they, you say you're actor, comedian, do they present any quiz shows?
Yeah.
I mean, I see your smile there, but doesn't necessarily mean I'm any closer. In my head, first of all, and obviously I don't think it's going to be this, in my head I'm thinking, right, now let's think of comedians that do quiz shows, and in my head I've got Bradley Walsh in my head. Is it Bradley Walsh?
Yeah.
Yes!
Yes, it is.
Oh, I'm so excited. After the last one, that's really made me happy. Yeah.
I mean, it was difficult because he's done everything. Absolutely everything. And just to go through all of the clues there and unpack everything, he was in Coronation Street for a while as the son of or a relative of Mike Baldwin. He also was in Law and Order UK, which is a remake of an American show. And, of course, he's been in Doctor Who fairly recently, but I couldn't really give you that one because it's kind of out of era and it's a little bit thing. But back in the 90s, he presented Wheel of Fortune for ITV, so the game shows. Obviously, now he's presented about 1 million episodes of The Chase, which, if you go on to Channel 47 on Freeview, is on literally all the time. So... yeah, that is Bradley Walsh. And also, one thing we didn't get round to was that he's also a singer. He's had 2 very high-charting albums. So, it was fairly an easy one because but at the same time, because there's so many things. There's so many things, like you said. I mean, who are these other people that you were thinking of? Who else did you have in your head?
So it was a case of just trying to think of, comedian and actors. There's been so many over the 90s and noughties. I was thinking people like Roy Walker initially, but I didn't know if he did any acting, but he's quite an all-rounder. And then I thought catchphrase. That's why I threw out catchphrase at you, just to see how you might react if there's a yes or no there. But yeah, as soon as I think if I had asked you ITV and you said yes, I probably would have come out with Bradley Walsh a lot quicker.
Yeah.
But when you said BBC was a bit sketchy, I was like, okay, so I'll go to it. So I'm glad you said it's easy. I didn't think it was that easy. I'm just glad I got it right after the second one, which I forgot the last one we did. What was it? LaRue. See, I still can't remember. I still need to do my research, clearly. I'm glad I got that one. So, yeah, brilliant. Yeah, Bradley Walsh.
Well done. He's celebrating his birthday in the week of this broadcast, and thanks, Chris, for playing. And that brings us to the end of this podcast. I'd like to thank everyone who contributed to it, and you for listening. If you'd like some extra content, please go and check out the 90s and Noughties YouTube channel, where you'll find taste tests and other 90s and 2000s related content. You can also come and join the live stream at twitch.tv/90s and Noughties UK, and that happens every Monday at 10:30 p.m. UK time. So from me, Jamie Dyer, thank you very much for listening, and bye-bye for now.
Thank you for listening to 90s and Noughties UK, a podcast on UK pop culture of the 90s and 2000s. Please remember to rate, comment and subscribe on your favourite podcast provider. If you want to contact the show, email 90sandnoughties@gmail.com, tweet us on @90sandnoughties UK on Twitter, or check us out on Facebook, 90s and Noughties UK.